I don't usually get affected by daylight savings time, but we lost the hour and then Michael got sick. So there was one night I got up with him and then I couldn't fall back asleep. And every night after that was just a bad night of sleep. And it totally threw off my morning routine, which once that's thrown off, it totally throws off my entire day. And I didn't have my normal power hour of work for the podcast and working on my Morning Made Simple workshop. I treasure my mornings. I love my family, but my mornings are seriously my favorite time of my day. So a week of not having them was very tough. But the common theme on the show that I mention at least every other episode is the ability to give ourselves grace. When things don't go as planned or you don't get done all the things that you want to get done, don't beat yourself up. Give yourself grace. Some days are tougher than others, some weeks are tougher than others, but I also don't want you to give up on those healthy routines you were building because of a bad week. Yes, it could totally throw you off, but treat it like a bump in the road, not a complete detour. And if mornings are a struggle for you, or if you're tired of feeling rushed and overwhelmed or stressed before the day even starts, my Morning Made Simple workshop is exactly what you need. I'll be walking you through step by step how to create a calm, productive, stress-free morning. And the waitlist, I just opened it up and I'd love for you to be a part of it. And honestly, that brings us to today's topic because for so many of us, it's not just the chaotic mornings that throw us off. It's the little and big things that keep us stuck. The habits, the mindset blocks, the fear, the self-doubt, all of the things that quietly hold us back from building the life we truly want, whether it's struggling to stay consistent with routines, constantly putting yourself last like we always do, or feeling like you're just too busy to chase your goals. I see it all the time. And today, we're breaking it down. So let's talk about the biggest things keeping you stuck, and more importantly, how to move past them. Because that dream life that you've been putting off, it's waiting for you. And I'm here to help you step into it. So let's dive in. Are you feeling overwhelmed trying to juggle all the many hats you wear as a working mom? Do you want more quality time with your family without distraction of work and time alone to take care of yourself and your needs? Welcome to Mom Wife Career Life. I'm Carrie, a wife, mom of 3, and a recovering perfectionist. In this podcast, I will teach you how to create balance in your life by implementing healthy habits, organizing your home and your schedule, being intentional with your time and in your relationships, and most importantly, how to start putting your needs first because no one can pour from an empty cup. Grab that second cup of coffee, or if you're anything like me, your third. It's time to dive into today's episode of Mom Wife Career Life. I talk with a lot of moms, and you know what? They all have so much in common, the same pain points, the same struggles, and this one gets me all the time. The same sparkle in their eye when they talk about what they want their life to look like in 5 years. But then comes the narrative. Someday I want to. When I have this, then I'll be able to. If this happens, then that can happen. All the if then this thinking. Or worse, the I want this, but it's a pipe dream. I can't. And I'm not going to lie, it really hurts my heart a little because I know those dreams aren't impossible. And whenever I hear that kind of thinking, my first instinct is help them flip the script, to shift that mindset from someday to let's make that happen. And that's exactly why today we're talking about the 5 biggest things holding you back from building that dream life and how to move past them. So let's get into it. Number 1, overwhelm and lack of time. When I talk to moms and I ask them what their biggest pain point is, the most common answer I get is I don't have time to do all the things, followed by I'm so overwhelmed. And I just want to give them a big hug. And if we're in person, sometimes I actually do. We are all so hard on ourselves between work demands, parenting responsibilities, trying to manage the house. We all feel there are just not enough hours in the day. So taking the time to even just stop and think about what you really want your life to look at doesn't happen. But I promise you, you do have the time. I haven't worked with a mom yet that I haven't been able to find a few extra hours in a week. So how do we overcome this mindset? Besides listening to all the episodes I have on time management, time blocking. Time blocking is so huge. Prioritizing your schedule by dividing your days into dedicated time blocks for your non-negotiables, for your hours of work, for your family, for self-care, and make sure you're blocking out time in your week for personal growth. Even just 30 minutes of focused time for your dreams can really add up. The next is delegate. You don't have to do it all. Delegate tasks at home. Identify what your kids can start taking over and what your partner can start taking over. And if you can afford it, what you can outsource. Cleaning and food shopping were the first things to go on my delegate list when I needed to create more time and space in my schedule. And the next is learn to say no. Protect your time by saying no to commitments that don't align to your goals and don't align to your values. You don't have to say yes to everything. And yes, I used to say yes to everything. And it's really just a quick trip to burnout. You can check out my episode 26 where I walk you through how to say no without the guilt. I will link it in the show notes. Number 2, guilt and limiting beliefs. Mom guilt is a real thing and can really creep in when you take that time for yourself and you pursue big goals. I hear you, I see you, but combine this with those limiting beliefs like I can't have it all or it's selfish to focus on me, and it really becomes a significant roadblock. So, how do you overcome it? First, reframe your mindset. Shift your perspective to see self investment as an act of love for your family. A happy, fulfilled mom is a better mom. I can't tell you the difference starting this podcast has made. You can ask anyone around me. When I talk about it, I just seriously light up. And to feel and to really know that I have a bigger purpose than just being a mom, just being a wife, has really brought me a lot of joy. Next, set boundaries. Clearly communicate your needs to your family and to your partner. Share your vision with them and involve them in your journey. It can really help alleviate that guilt. I have a great freebie to help you out with this one. It's my Boundaries Made Simple guide. The link is in the show notes. It's literally step by step on how to identify where you need those boundaries, how to create them at work, with your friends and family, with your kids, and most importantly, with your personal time. And last, celebrate progress. Acknowledge even those small wins to counteract all those doubts. I've really gotten good at this. And honestly, my Clever Fox daily planner has really helped me out with this one. It has a section for the wins for each week. And every week I make sure to fill it out. I usually look back at what my top 3 priorities were each day. And I always make sure that one of the top 3 always has something to do with my side hustle. And you don't have to go out and buy the planner. You could just keep a journal or even a document on your computer where you keep track of it. You'd really be surprised at the amount of things you can come up with. Number 3, lack of clarity and resources. A lot of you working moms have these big dreams but feel stuck because they lack a clear plan or the right tools to move forward. In order to get that clarity, you really need quiet time. I get my best clarity when I'm on vacation, on a beach, watching the sunrise, but that's obviously not available to everyone all the time. My next best time is taking a bath. And again, I don't do that anywhere as often as I can and I should, but the next best thing is either in my morning routine or on my nature walk. So find what works for you. And before you set out on that walk or that meditation, set your intention for that walk. And I want you to start by defining your why. Get crystal clear on why your dream matters to you and your family. A strong why will really keep you motivated. Make sure you write it down somewhere where it's going to be front and center. If you have a paper planner, write it down on one of the front pages so that you see it every time you open it. Next, set SMART goals. Break your dreams down into specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound steps. I have a whole bunch of episodes on goal setting. I'll link them in the show notes, but start there. And last, seek support. Invest in a coach, join a supportive community like my Facebook group. There's plenty of other Facebook groups out there if you have a special niche you want to learn about, or find a mentor that can guide you through your journey. You don't have to do it alone, and you shouldn't do it alone. If you're worried about time, a coach will save you tons of time. And that's a perfect segue into number 4. Number 4, waiting for the perfect time. Spoiler alert, the perfect time does not exist. I hear this all the time. Now is not a good time, or maybe when my toddler is potty trained, or maybe when my littles are in school full time, or when work slows down a bit, which, side note, I've been waiting for work to slow down a bit for probably 6 years now. But no one is going to hand you a golden opportunity where your schedule magically appears, your kids don't need anything, and the universe lines up just right. Life keeps lifing. The laundry will never be done. Your kids will always need that snack. And waiting for someday usually ends up turning into never. And not to be a downer, but in the past week, I've personally known 3 people that have passed away so young, all beautiful women, 2 with kids my kids' age, and one that was just starting her life, hoping to become a mom. So my message to you is life is just too short to waste any time waiting for that perfect time. So what can you do? First, start small and start now. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Just take one tiny step today. Write an email, brainstorm an idea, set a goal, reach out to me. I will help you. Just DM me, get in my Instagram. Next, ditch the all or nothing mindset. Progress is still progress, even if it's slow. A few steps forward are better than standing still. And I'm going to be honest, I am nowhere near where I hope to be when I started out almost 2 years ago. but I'm so confident on this path that God has me on that I'm putting trust in his timing. And last, make peace with imperfection. And I know this is a hard one, talking to all my perfectionist mamas out there, been there, done that, still working through it a bit. But if you're waiting until you have it all figured out, you're going to be waiting forever. Start messy, do it scrappy, and learn as you go. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Taking it back to yesterday's quote, mistakes are just figuring out what doesn't work. So keep going until you figure out what does. Number 5, fear of failure or even success. This one's a tricky one because fear works both ways. Some of us are afraid of failing. What if it doesn't work? What if people judge me? But then some of us are actually afraid of success. What if this works out? Can I really handle it? And here's the thing. Fear is normal, but it doesn't have to control you. I had such a fear of failure when I started this podcast. I knew zero about how to actually podcast, and there's still so much I have to learn. But when I tell you I do it so scrappy, I'm also creating a course and I'm doing that scrappy too. I'm learning as I go. And you know what failure is? It's a learning opportunity. Bringing it back again to yesterday's quote. I haven't failed. I've just probably found 10,000 ways that didn't work. So how do we fix this? Shift the narrative. Instead of asking, what if I fail? Ask yourself, what if you win? Or I love this quote, oh, but my darling, what if you fly? I used to say that to Ashley when she was little all the time. She was always so worried about trying new things, and her narrative always started with, I can't. And you don't know what you can't do if you're not trying. Next, take the next right step. You don't have to see that whole staircase, just the next step. This is part of my morning routine. It's part of my daily morning prayer. I sit there and I ask God every morning to guide me on what my right next step is. I don't need to see that whole staircase. And sometimes the answer is just keep doing what you're doing. But sometimes things come to me like reach out to so-and-so, or the best one was write Mel Robbins a letter. I'm still waiting to see if anything comes of that one. But one of my dreams is to have her on the show someday. So maybe that letter was God's way of having me plant that seed. You'll just have to keep tuning in and watching my journey to see if that actually happens. But God actually did open the door for me to meet her, which was absolutely amazing. So you never know what's going to happen. Next, surround yourself with people who believe in you. Your dreams need a hype squad. Find someone that's going to remind you that you're capable, even when you doubt yourself. Find an accountability partner, and I could be that partner for you. I promise you, reach out to me. I've had moms reach out to me that are like, you're inspiring me to do so-and-so. You're inspiring me to live my dream. And I reach out to them. We have conversations. I will help you wherever I can because I'm so in this for you, and I want to see you happy, and I want to see you going for your goals. And if you have negative people in your life, I really want you to check out episode 182 on how to set boundaries with negative people without the guilt. I'll link that one in the show notes as well. And next, look at the worst case scenario. If you try and fail, what's the worst that will happen? You learn, you adjust, and you try again. But caveat, I'm all for taking risks, but also make smart decisions and plan. Don't go quitting your job and trying to start a side hustle if losing your paycheck would have significant impact on your family. Which also, side note, if the worst case scenario is you won't be able to pay your mortgage, then maybe scale back a bit until the worst case scenario is so impactful. And listen, I know chasing your dreams can feel totally overwhelming, especially when you're balancing work, family, and trying to drink that coffee while it's still hot. I feel you. But trust me, you are not stuck. You are not too busy, and it's not too late. You just need to plan, you need support, and you need that courage to take that first step, which I hope this episode has given you a little bit of that. If you want to keep this conversation going, head on over to our Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms, or DM me on Instagram. I promise you, anyone that reaches out to me on Instagram, I do reply. I love having conversations with you all. You can reach me at mom.wife.career.life. Sending you all so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Carrie Pat. Before you go, if you found this podcast helpful, I would be so grateful if you would take a minute, go on over to iTunes and leave me a review. If you have other stressed out mamas in your life that you feel this podcast could help, take a screenshot of this episode, post it on your Instagram stories and tag me, and let them know that they are not alone and they can create balance in their life too. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover or you just want to connect, DM me on Instagram at mom.wife.career.life or come on over and hang out in our free Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Carrie Pat.